A very warm welcome along, punters, and a happy new year to you all. Wonderful to see you all into 2026 here on the Big Five Racing Podcast. Christmas racing is into the books, and out of the darkest months, it's truly time now to switch heads towards the Big Four Spring Festivals. And of course, we are now less than 9 weeks away from the 2026 Cheltenham Festival. It's just all so exciting. I've had my cohorts flip-flopping in recent weeks over the busy festivities. However, I am delighted to welcome both of the Midlands might back for you this week for a special edition of the Big Five. I'm not one for the exchange markets on whether racing will be on or not, but like every good broadcaster, Matty, you turn when you can to an awards ceremony, and that's what we're going to do this week. Fitting to do it now, I suppose, to put a bit of a marker on the dramatic national hunt year for 2025. It's been a bit of a bleak start to this year, however. Not a single jumps meeting, of course, has triumphed over the weather yet this week, and I suppose just the insanity of watching the all-weather every day starting to kick in. But how are you, and how's the start of 26 been?
Yeah, no, good. Steady start to the month. Like you say, not much racing to look forward to as of yet, but like you say, good chance to discuss some of the recent events in racing, considering it's looking to be a quiet weekend. Weatherby already abandoned, so just Warwick and Kempton at the moment, but obviously both kind of look under threat with the weather. So yeah, good chance for us to talk about some of our highlights.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose it's just tricky at the minute to put a podcast together when there's no racing to actually talk about. But we did have racing on New Year's Day up Cleve Hill. We'll go into that meeting and the rail keel in a minute. Results probably weren't really at the most ideal. We did tips for it, but I'm going to suggest that I think that's the fifth time I've been up the hill for the New Year's Day meeting. It's the best one I've ever been to. Probably accredited to the fact that Guinness Village was open and we took full advantage, but that was a hell of a meeting.
Yeah, no, good to see a record crowd, and I think the numbers were good all over Christmas from a variety of tracks. So it's good to see that people are coming racing. I still can't get over the fact that a return bus ticket from the centre to the racecourse was £9. I think that was the only downside of the day. But no, apart from that, really good day's racing, and yeah, good to see a lot of people coming.
The genuine upheaval that caused. £9 for a return it was for us to get from directly in the town centre up to the racecourse. I mean, that's just barbaric, isn't it? Like the money that Stagecoach have pulled off there, they've had the biggest winner of the day, haven't they? That was extraordinary. But yeah, small fee into a bigger day. Why are you going to moan about £9 for a bus ticket when you're paying £30 around for 4 beers? It comes and goes, doesn't it? We will get into that awards ceremony that we mentioned there very shortly. Before we do that, we are just going to bring back in what happened from New Year's Day at Cheltenham. Cotty alluded to it there, Matty, about the crowds, and I can't remember the exact figure. I think it was like 44,000. It was 5,000 more than turned up to watch the Champion Chase in 25. Like that's great. It's fantastic to see. There's also a bit of a downside to that. Well, possibly a downside, because what that's essentially done is confirmed that when people are off, they want to come racing. We don't have a Saturday, of course, at the Cheltenham Festival. This has been talked about forever. It now feels like the nail's in the coffin, and we are going to be moving to a Saturday for the festival.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I think with the festival, you're guaranteed to get healthy crowds regardless. The trouble with moving it to a Saturday, does it change the type of crowd that you're going to get? I think it definitely does. Probably you're going away from your traditional racing enthusiasts as opposed to, you know, people just looking to go for a drink and not
But
actually.
do the Jockey Club genuinely care about that? Would they not rather have 60,000 rammed in on Gold Cup Day for the Saturday?
Well, this is the thing, but then I think with that, you potentially are going to lose members then for the future. And
Possibly.
it depends what the Jockey Club value more, I suppose. I think a loyal fan base is going to go a lot further than, um, you know, getting, getting a crowd full of, hate to say it, but riffraff on a Saturday.
Mm.
So it's an interesting point. I've always sort of gone with, there's not a lot wrong with the Cheltenham Festival. Why are we trying to change so much of it? Moving the mayor's hurdle, etc. I didn't think was necessary at all. And for me, I just don't see there a need to be a Saturday. Yeah, if people are desperate to go to the festival, unfortunately you have to book. You do have to book time off work, or
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. But it's an interesting debate, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see if there's any further progression with it down the line.
Yeah, it'll circle around to existence. Matty alluded there to the loyal fan base, Cotty. Me and you have been members at that race course for however long now, and been to as many meetings as we have. Would, in your mind, it matter too much that based on the crowd that we seen there on New Year's Day going to a Saturday, do you think that's going to have a positive, a negative impact, or is it much of a muchness?
I mean, me personally, it wouldn't bother me if it went from Tuesday to Friday or Wednesday to Saturday. I mean, if you're gonna say that the Saturday would be more of a crowd like New Year's Day, I didn't, there was no trouble on New Year's Day, or do you know what I mean, or anything like that. It looked like everyone had a good time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's pros. You'd use one day less annual leave.
True.
I mean that can only be a good thing. I'd imagine the older racing fans would, they like their routine and tradition. They'd always say Tuesday to Friday. They'd probably say, why is it 4 days now when it should be 3?
And then obviously the side effect of this is that no one's talking about the fact, well, we might still be racing on a Tuesday because it could be a 5-day meeting that runs through to the Saturday.
Yeah, no, I'd be against. I'd be against a 5-day because, you've got the likes of Lossiemouth, prime example, can pick and choose
There
where
would
she
just be
wants
more
to go.
cases of that, wouldn't there?
Yeah, definitely. If anything, it should be a 3-day meeting. I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If I could have my ideal scenario, it'd be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But if they keep it at 4, which I'd imagine they will, if it was Wednesday to Saturday or Tuesday to Friday, it wouldn't bother me at all.
No. 100%. Like, it's one of those things that me and you, but on Matt's, we all know I'm going to be off that week anyways, regardless. So it doesn't matter what 4 days. You could put it on Monday to Thursday, it wouldn't make a difference to me. But it's something to keep an eye on, obviously, because it is going to attract big crowds, and that is obviously something the sport needs to do better. But New Year's Day's crowd was good. The feature's the only race we're going to talk about there. That was the Relkill Hurdle, which is a Grade 2 Cabral Dumathan. 8 to 15, I think he went off in the end, Matty. We've seen him very impressive at Haydock, pissed up, got about £15 for that. He justified that was worth it. Had a bit of a contention going to the last, jumped it nicely. And we are now very much looking at a possible Grade 1 perennial contender. That race, I think, was over 2.5 miles in the Relkill. You're asking him to go up to 3 or down to 2 if he's going to win at the festival. Assess how good he is.
Yeah, he looks very impressive. Look, it was a very smooth victory, bar a mistake down the back, which he recovered from really well, and obviously didn't knock his confidence at all. Yeah, it seems there probably looks like they're going to swerve the festival with him, which I think is the right choice. I mean, you're stuck in between 2 trips there, and Dan Skelton's got the new line for the champion hurdle. Whether he has something else for the stayers hurdle, we'll find out. But there's no point in trying to force it with such a young horse who's got a long career ahead of him. I think very much just let him have a go at Aintree. He might have to take on a Lossiemouth there, or maybe a Sagino, a Constitution Hill. We're not sure yet, but I think the trip's definitely going to suit him a bit more there. And then maybe next season you look at him being a stayers hurdle horse, but very impressive. Didn't beat a lot. It's going to have to step up again, but lots of potential and lots to like.
Cabral Dumathan Cotty now is an example of a horse, Matty nailed it, rocking a hard place, that not every horse has to go to the Cheltenham Festival, because you're either going to have to force him to go up and be a 3-miler. I don't think he's quick enough for 2 miles. We can probably all rule that out. So is it a case of save a good one for Aintree and try for Skelton, knowing he needs every single pound he can get between now and May, wait and find the right opportunity for this horse?
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll be straight to Aintree for that horse after the race. Skelton said that he thought the best trip would be 2 Mile Ford, didn't he, at this stage of the horse's career? And you know what Dan's like, he gets the best out of his horses for a long period of time. And if you chuck that young horse in a stayers against the likes of Tia Hooper and Bob Ollinger and that, he could do more more bad for the horse than good. So, yeah, I mean, to make a mistake like that halfway through the race and still sprint up the hill and pull clear to win as easy as he likes, I think that shows what type of horse we're dealing with. And no, I'd definitely be saving it for Aintree and not going for the stayers.
Yeah, I was impressed with him. I thought he was very good. So obviously that mistake down the back, but the way he flew off the last, you can definitely see that like he hit the line quite hard over 2.5. I think 3 miles is there, but all that would happen, I think, if he went to the stayers is Gordon Elliott would end up doing a favour for Willie Mullins rather than Dan Skelton, because that division, the very good 3 milers are very good at the minute. You mentioned them there. Tia Hoopu, Bob Ollinger both ran belters over Leopardstown at Christmas, and I thought, there's a standard there really at the minute, I think, and there's too many good Irish stayers that I just think he needs time. But I think that it's good he got up the hill, and his day will come at Cheltenham. I just don't think it will be this season. Right, here we go then. We're going to have to park the races this week, folks, for a minute, and welcome everyone to the official, definitely right, annual 2025 National Hunt Awards. Yes, that is the Bullseye theme you can hear in the background. No, neither of you are going to win a speedboat for the best answers, but we are going to try our best to agree on answers for each of our awards. We've got 5 categories for you. Feel free to leave your comments as well, folks, for your best answers, whatever you think is good or bad from us. And we'll take it from there. The 5 that we're going to do is the horse of the year, the jockey of the year, the ride of the year, the race of the year, and then the story of the year. I'm expecting a bit of anarchy here from you two. We're going to run the races in order, or the awards rather in order, and we'll see how we get on. We will start then with the horse of the year for 2026. 25 rather. It's a bit early to call 2026, isn't it? Obviously, I suppose at this stage you're looking for horses that ran really consistently, were winning continual grade ones, big handicaps, that kind of thing, rather than a one and done job like a Bob Ollinger, perhaps, who just turned up once and won. And I'm going to just, because it might be good for the anarchy, I'm going to go right to Cotty for this to start with then. The horse of the year for 2025. Good contenders in here, good champions that came back and won at the festival. Where are you kicking off for your first award?
Oh, I was between 2 here. But I narrowly preferred Marine Nationale
Okay.
for my horse of the year. I thought the run in the Champion Chase was very impressive, and obviously everything that's gone on with the connection of the horse with Michael O'Sullivan. I just think it's a worthy winner, should we say, and then went straight to Punchestown and won the Irish Champion Chase. All the talk that day is about Factor File. Cracked that, won easy enough, and then reappeared a couple of weeks ago at Leopardstown. Made a shocking mistake early on. Basically, was sent 360 and was almost facing the wrong way at one point, and then to go down by half a length and be 3 lengths clear of Madgeborough that day just showed what a gutsy horse this is, and all roads lead to the Champion Chase this year to defend its crown, and hopefully he can do so.
Yeah, we'll see him in Dublin in a couple of weeks' time as well when he goes for the Irish Champion Chase or whatever. I don't know what the race is called at Leopardstown, but I think that's a pretty good pick. Just out of interest, who was the second horse you had in mind?
It was actually Panic Attack.
Panic Attack. There we go. Well, I like that from the great. Obviously, picked up 2 massive grades, didn't he? Won the Paddy Power, won the Hennessy. I mean, that is an incredible double. I like that as a pick. Was yours mentioned there, Matty?
No, I've gone for a different view. I've actually gone for a horse who has ran 5 times in 2025 and has won every time. And the smallest winning distance for this horse was 4.5 lengths. That horse is Thistleask. Obviously, recently it's a bit of recency bias, but what a season for the horse. I mean, they had 1 run for James Ewart at the start of February, won at Musselburgh, won quite nicely, and then that took him up to 115 rated. Since then, he's had 4 runs for Dan Skelton and is now rated 158. That's £43 improvement. Now, I don't know where you'll see a horse improve like that for in that space of time, at least. His 4 runs for Dan have all come in the space of 3 months, so he's essentially gone up 43 pounds in 3 months. It's quite remarkable. And his next target looks to be a run in the Clarence House chase, which you're going to go against the likes of John Bon. We'll yet to see what Willie's going to send over, but incredible turnaround. And I think Dan Skelton gets a hell of a lot of credit for it, rightly so. A lot of credit has to go to the horse. I mean, it's a hell of a shift. I don't know. We'll never know exactly what the key to this horse has been, but remarkable. And I think he's just because he's not claimed an open grade 1 yet. He's won 2 grade 2s, mind, in this time. Not sure the exact figure of prize money he's made, but it's got to be up in the hundreds of thousands by now. And remarkable horse, and definitely deserves some recognition.
Will he win a grade 1 this season?
Do you know what? There's no reason. I mean, this is mental, but I don't know why I can see him going to Ascot and running really well. Like he goes like the clappers, but never stops. His jumping's good. He might get a few of them, or whatever turns up, he might get a few of them in trouble. And John Bon's not the most robust horse. We've seen him throw his toys out the pram potentially a few times before. I would not write it off, and I think it'd take a lot for me to back against him, to be honest, in something like the Clarence House. And then you have a right dilemma, because there's one race for him then, and it's the Champion Chase, which they've already got Le de Sud on. I can't imagine Harry will get off Le de Sud, so maybe that chucks in a ride for Tristan in the Champion Chase. We'll see, but yeah.
So the math backwards there is that your horse of the year is going to land Tristan Durrell the Champion Chase.
I mean, if he does that, he'll probably be my horse of 2026 as well. we can bookmark that for next year.
Yeah, that'd be some night out, won't it, if you manage that? But I like that. It's a good pick. Yeah, very progressive type, and like you said, they're undefeated. They're the kind of horses you want to take into this season, and maybe he will go and nick a Clarence House. It's kind of interesting to see, can John Bon get back to his high status? We've not really seen it yet this season, so maybe a bit of an angle there in the 2 mile division. I kind of just kept this simple, to be fair. I didn't want to mess around, and obviously, like we've talked about, this horse being up there with the likes of Corto Star and Denman of years gone by, and he's still not necessarily the king of the division right now, but he was throughout 2025. That is Galopin de Champs. He ran 4 times, picked up 2 grade 1s, won the Irish Gold Cup, finally got his win in the Punchestown Gold Cup, was only second, of course. People are so dismissive about the run in the Gold Cup. He still finished second, about 4 or 5 lengths behind I Know the Way You're Thinking. Reappeared there over Christmas and was a good enough third, I thought. So I think there's so much life left in this all, but I think he's just turned 10, didn't he? 10-year-olds don't have a good record in the Gold Cup, fair enough. Yeah, we'll see how he goes on to the year. But I thought those 4 runs, 4 grade 1s, 4 places, 2 wins, and a third Irish Gold Cup. I am continually amazed by this horse every time he runs. He's the biggest horse in the game. He has been for the last 5 years. And I just thought, you've got to keep it simple sometimes. And Galopin has just been incredible for so long. And he was definitely my horse of the year. Right, this is where the anarchy is going to start then. We're going to go for our Jockey of the Year. And I now, after talks prior, I believe that there's at least 2 selections here. Matty, keep it with you then. Jockey of the Year. There are so many good contenders. There's been one breathtaking candidate, of course, this side of the water. The champion jockey himself. Is Sean Bowen your Jockey of the Year?
Yeah, slightly boring from me, but I think he deserves all the recognition. To be honest, he's just taken riding back to the level that McCoy and Walsh and Geraghty brought to racing, and I think that is exactly what you want. We need superstars like him, in the sport, and I just think, the way he rides for anyone and everyone, he'll be seen at Fakenham on a Tuesday, or Ayr on a Monday, or now he's finally getting these rides at your Cheltenhams and your bigger meetings, being used by some of the biggest trainers in the country. Irish trainers love to use him. Obviously, Gordon Elliott's a big fan of him. He's been riding for him for a few years. And yeah, I just think the way he gets the best out of horses is a remarkable talent, and it's a talent that, you know, not many jockeys do, not many jockeys possess. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. And he's going to be champion jockey again this season, bar, you know, an accident. And I really,
Even if he broke his leg today, he's that far clear, isn't he?
he's very far clear. I think Harry's just behind him, and then his brother's, you know, not too far off as well. He's been superb as well. But just I'd love to see him get a big Cheltenham Festival winner this year. That would be what I'd like to see from him. But you can't. It's not like he isn't trying. He's just not quite got that opportunity. I mean, looking back at, you know, John Joe O'Neill winning the Triumph on a Willie Mullins 7th or 8th string. I'd love that to be Sean Bowen at this festival.
Yeah, and Bowen deserves that. And the only reason he's not my answer is because he's not yet done that. And that's like you. I completely agree with you there. That's no fault of his own. He comes from a small, not a small stable, but a mid-sized stable with Ollie Murphy, and the opportunity to ride the Grade 1 horses just hasn't been there for him. And I kind of just need to visually see him do that before I would award him the Jockey of the Year, which is why I've gone for Paul Townend, because year after year we've talked about, like you just mentioned there, and I was going to interrupt. You said like Bowen is bringing back the standard that McCoy, Garrity, Walsh were all riding at, and I was like, and Townend. I really wanted to just say Townend because he has been riding at that level now for the last 8 or 9 years, fluidly, very rarely injured, ultra consistent, picks up the Grade 1 rides, but yeah, people are going to say he's on the best horses, but it's because he gives them the best rides. And I've always been sort of infatuated. I've always said he's probably the best jockey I've ever seen. He may well be the best of all time, and he's going to try and smash Walsh's record at the festival in years to come. I just have always had such an adoration for him. Bowen is right there. He's easily the number 2 pick, and he's been brilliant. His riding style is incredible, but when you talk big time, you talk about Paul Townend, and for me, that was an easy one.
Yeah, well, it's a shame he juggled his stick around in the King George. Otherwise, he might have got Gaelic Warrior up. That was one moment I thought that could have cost him there. Just that moment where he could have got another into him. He's nearly dropped it, caught it again. By that point, the moment's gone.
Lost the half length, yeah. Well, it's funny, like I said it straight afterwards. You could run that King George another 5 times in the next 5 days. There would have been 5 different winners. It was just one of those races.
For sure, yeah.
But on the ultimatum, that's one example against the amount of brilliant rides I've seen from him over the last 12 months.
Can't argue with it.
No, he's incredible. Cotty, you've always been a huge Sean Bowen fan, and justifiably so. He's just an incredible rider, isn't he? And I'm assuming he's going to be your Jockey of the Year too.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's not many jockeys that can get horses to win that shouldn't win, and he's definitely one that is a prime example. The amount of rides that we see, you know, there's just no right for that horse to win, and he gets them up time after time. So yeah, it was pretty easy for me. I think, you know, you alluded to him not having a Cheltenham Festival winner, and how you think Paul Townend is, you know, so good and oozes confidence and whatnot. But I can guarantee you, if you put Sean Bowen on the horses that Paul Townend rides, then you know, there wouldn't be many results that would you know,
change.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But yeah, I just think it's he's streets ahead of everyone else, and yeah, the right winner for me.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not gonna disagree that it was Sean Bowen. Just like I said there, when he starts getting those Grade 1 rides, which will come, I was gonna just give a mention for Harry Cobden as well, and that's just based on having a bit of a difficult season with the way Nicholls' horses haven't been that good, but still getting results. And obviously, we've started to see him get the rides for Clous Sutton as well, and he kind of looks like the man who's going to fit the mold when Townend and Patrick Mullins kind of sail off at the same time. So I wanted to give a mention to him, but definitely Bowen and Paul Townend, justifiable joint winners. We'll call that one. We'll split the board on that one. Ride of the year then, through the middle, and this was you had so many options for this, didn't you, boys? Because there's been so many festival rides throughout the year, and then we've seen some amazing handicap rides, particularly from Sean Bowen, of course, coming from the gods to win races at Newbury earlier in the season. Because this is trickier, I'll go to you first, Matty, because you'll have a better sort of insight into the idea of how a horse can be ridden to find perfection. And Like there was so many options here, so go for it. That wasn't to be disrespectful to Cotty, by the way. Just
No, I'm going to ask you to go to Cotty because I'm still just. I've got the two in the head, and I still need every moment to work out.
Cotty, I'll come to you first for this one because you'd have a really good analysis on how betting works for the race, and you'd be able to kind of figure out how could a 20-1 shot who was 5,000 lengths back be able to win a race from where he did? Is it a front running performance for you or something that came from the gods?
No, something that really did come from the gods. The only way I've edged this is due to the occasion and caliber of the race. I did again have two shortlisted for this, but it is, and it hates me to say it, Nico de Boinville for me in the Arkle on Django Bay. I just thought, coming down the hill, he kind of was ready to pull up, and he just gave the horse so much time to recover, and then absolutely flew up the hill. And it was kind of like Champ-esque. When Champ were in the RSA, it was literally exactly the same. I mean, it's probably lucky enough that Madborough made that race ending mistake 2 out, but he's absolutely flew up the hill and filled the horse's lungs up, and got the revs up when he needed to, and stayed on nicely up the hill. I thought that was a really good ride. The other one that was almost like a dead eat for me was the ride Sean Bowen gave Wade out. I think it was at the November meeting on the Friday.
Yeah.
In the John Hales colours. That was just
slap them.
Yeah, something out of the ordinary that was, and a very very good ride. But no, I think due to the occasion and the type of race, I'll have to give it to Nico on Django Bay in the Arkle.
There is gritted teeth there, isn't there? Giving Nico de Boinville any kind of award. But I like it. I thought because he's gone on to prove himself, Django Bay, as a perennial Gold Cup contender, and obviously unlucky not to pick up a King George. There's obvious evidence there the horse had power to stay, and Nico knew that. But how well he kind of kept in contention with the four horses in front of him was really magical. So I can completely see your angle from that. I'll just give Matty another minute in case he's thinking and go with mine. And that kind of, like, the reason I went for Townend is that this is such a get his cock out your mouth moment, isn't it, really? But with Townend, when he rides horses from the front, I remember saying it when Kitsbull ran at Kempton on Boxing Day to use in the group chat, and I said, you just don't give this man an opportunity to win races from the front because he just doesn't come back. And the way that the John Durkan developed, whether he wanted to go as far clear as he did, he managed to make the best of what looked a really awkward situation with Gaelic Warrior. And it's not a case that he is getting this award from me because he ran them dead from the front. It was the way he picked up on the horse again when Factifile pushed past him just after the last, and then he was able to regain. His composure on the horse was just absolutely incredible, and his timing was just brilliant. And his clock for the game, when it comes to clearing fences, clearing hurdles, you very rarely see him fall. Stateman, obvious exception. But he just absolutely nails every single fence and obstacle in his way, and then his riding on the flat ability is incredible. The way he got Gaelic Warrior up in that John Durkan, which could well have won Race of the Year, actually, I suppose. I didn't put it up there, but it could well have done, was absolutely amazing. So Townend gets a double for me. Come on then, what have you got?
Yeah, this was by far the hardest one for me to go from. I mean, you think how many good rides we see, just in the week. Gone for probably one you wouldn't expect. At the Cheltenham Festival last year, in the Turner's Novice Handicap Chase, Harry Cobden on Caldwell Potter.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought, different change of tactics for the horse, massive field, and you were always watching, thinking they'll pick him up, but never did. And it was. I think it doesn't get enough recognition because it was such a simple ride, but to be able to do that at the festival, under that pressure,
Top weight as well, wasn't it? Or one of the top weights?
It definitely would have been up there. Yeah, I think it might have been top weight.
it was
Obviously,
top
went on to back it up at Aintree as well. I mean, even better performance. But yeah, I just think, it's very easy to pick, rides where jockeys come from miles back and stuff, but you cannot beat a good front running ride. I know we're all big fans of Johnny Deneen, and he always raves about if he sees one from the front, he's already happy, and it is true. I think you just can't beat being out in front, seeing your horse daylight, jumping, and I thought Harry Cobden was superb that day. Often does get his fraction spot on, but to do it that big of a race and that occasion just really stood out for me.
After so many people had written this horse off as well, after a bit of a disappointing start, after he came out of the Caldwell dispersal when they left the game in 24. Cobden is the best front-running jockey of all time on either side of the water. Absolutely.
Hard to disagree with it, for sure.
Like, just the rhythm, like you said there, when he gets horses into motion, good horses, he's very, very difficult to kind of claw back. And I've always been a huge Harry Cobden fan. I like that. Good pick. Caldwell Potter there for you. I suppose we'll split that one because we all had different opinions, but so fantastic rides of the year there. I like both of Cotty's shouts, to be fair. Race of the year, then. I don't know whether we've all gone for the same race here, but just to get the kind of boring status out of the way, I will just go first and put up the champion hurdle, because it doesn't really need describing much more than we already have with it, of course. We had the former two champion hurdlers going at it with Constitution Hill and State Man. Con Hill fell at the fifth, State Man fell at the last. Golden Ace picked up the pieces, Brighter Days Ahead blew out. It's the most dramatic 5 minutes I've ever experienced at a racecourse. I was stood behind Blogger at the time. I wasn't even watching the race. I was watching him doing his bits with his phone, and like I've never heard a crowd that quiet for a grade one ever anywhere I've been, or a group one. Like, it was just one of those moments that I know I'm never gonna forget. I was on Con took a battering off you in the members tent afterwards when he lost. I can't remember what it was you said, but fuck me, you had a good go at me. I remember that. That put me in a good mood. That was, I think because I didn't watch the race with you. Like, I came back in. I wanted to watch it out in the grandstand.
I was rubbing salt into your wounds for a good 20 minutes after the race.
Yeah. I think I gave it back a bit too much as well, but that's not like me. But it just goes to prove how dramatic that race was. So that was easy for me. Cotty, your race of the year.
My race of the year would have to be the King George, I think, to have 4 top class horses jump the last pretty much in a line was superb. I mean, like you said earlier on, you could run the race back 4 or 5 times and the race would be run differently and there'd be 4 different winners. But for the neutral and the racing fans, really, to have that, even after the last, you thought 3 out of the 4 were going to get their heads in front, and then Jukebox Man just got his nose down at the right time, and I just the Christmas race, really, if you're a racing fan, Christmas is all about the King George, and for it to deliver the way it did, I thought was really special.
100%, yeah. Like, it's just one of those races that you are going to want to run back every single year, and it was built up well, wasn't it? We talked about that being one of the best King Georges in years because the Irish contingency that came over, but Fact to Foul blew out. But Gaelic Warrior was there when it mattered, and it's now built up a brilliant Gold Cup picture. Like we said off air, there, you don't normally ever go on Gold Cup day, but because the field is 6-1 and it's such a good race, you might even turn up on the Friday. Matty, is it one of those two, or have you found a third?
Yeah, a bit boring. I've got to agree with Cotty there. I think if we'd have done this awards before Boxing Day, it'd have been a tricky choice, to be fair. There's been a lot of memorable races, but I think the hype that went into the King George, everyone was saying, this is the race of the year, and I think we get that a lot in racing. Not very often do they deliver as well as that King George did. I mean, you could have never have predicted we were going to get that kind of result. And I think, Cotty epitomised it all. The fact that it's the big Christmas race, Boxing Day, there weren't much footy on this year. So you've got a lot of people glued to the screens watching the racing. Kempton looked rammed as it always is. And that race must have gripped a lot of non-racing fans into racing. And I think that is ultimately what the sport needs, now more than ever, for sure. And I was gutted. I backed Gaelic Warrior. I don't think I've ever been that sweet on a horse in a grade one for a long time. I was so sweet on it. But because the race delivered so highly, it softened the blow of a losing bet on him. And I think, that stands for a lot in my mind anyway. The fact that of the quality of a race, just takes away from any financial part in the race. And yeah, I think it was just phenomenal, and I think we'll struggle to see a race as good as that this year, to be honest, but I hope we do.
Yeah, you kind of have to think of it this way. You were on Gaelic Warrior as well in the John Darkin, and it swings and roundabouts. Like, you got the nod that day, you didn't get it in the King George, but the
Yeah,
excitement for both of those
that's
races
racing.
was...
That's
Yeah,
and that's racing. That's why we all
yeah.
love racing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can moan when you've got one, like a bad ride from somebody, or a horse just wasn't on a trying day, but that's just the beautiful game, and it was really exemplified in that King George. And I've watched it over many a time since, and it's been, I mean, I was at Aintree on the day for the Grade 1 up there, but I remember just watching it on the big screens, and the crowd was nearly more buzzing for that than they were at the Formby. It was an amazing occasion. So the King George, yeah. We'll give that one to you two then, if you're happy to do that. So the King George takes that one. Final one we'll go for... I'm going to go last here because I'm going to go off like a fucking poet here for 5 minutes. But the story of the year, something that kind of came out, not necessarily a race, but something that might have just happened in the world of National Hunt Race. And I left this kind of wide open as a way to wrap things up. I'll stay with you here, Matty, actually, for the story of the year, because there was so many really kind of heartfelt things, dramatic things, because you could say that the Champion Hurdle was the story of the year, or Constitution Hill's 57 falls, but where have you decided to go to wrap things up here?
Yeah, I've gone for one which I don't think you two would have gone for. Back to Aintree Festival, the Grand National, and Patrick Mullins winning the Grand National for his father, Willie. I mean, I did back the horse that day. It helped a lot, but this is completely away from that. I think the emotion that Willie showed in the interview afterwards, I mean, for a man that has so many big winners, and, he wins Grade 1s like they're nothing, and you watch his interviews and it's just another winner for him. But this one, wow, you could... I mean, I think he did actually break into tears at one point, and I just thought, what a feeling that must be to give your son the leg up in the Grand National. Also on a 33 to 1 out, one of his outsiders, and for Patrick to go and win it as an amateur jockey, I think you don't get much better than that. Like a family affair.
Yeah.
Just the owners are fantastic owners as well. The interviews they carried out afterwards were superb, and that was the moment where it kind of sealed the championship for Willie, really, in some people's eyes. And I thought, no better moment to do it than that. So that's going to be my story of the year. But there was so many to choose from, and I'm interested to see what you two have gone with, because I was spoiled for choice, really.
Yeah, and you've opened up two barriers there, really. Obviously, you mentioned there that Mullins has winners every day of the week. He's won, I don't know how many Grade 1s it is now, but it's well into the hundreds. And there was that side of things, but also it was the fact that an amateur can win the national. I think that really... I know Sam Wadey-Cohn won it a couple of years ago as well, but it just kind of goes to prove, really, that, the sport is for everybody, and you can win it on a 30... Well, you should have never been 33 to 1, obviously, but yeah, I thought that was a great romance for the game. Cotty, again, wide open. You may well have agreed with that. I don't think he will have done, though.
No, it was on the short list, but I'm going to go back to my horse of the year and go with Marine Nationale winning the champion chase.
Yeah, this is both of us.
I didn't have a penny on it, but as soon as John Bond was out the picture, I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of people on the course, not just myself. It was okay. Now let's cheer on Marine Nationale, and I think that's one of the biggest roars I've heard at Cheltenham for what was it, 5 to 1, 6 to 1 shot.
Yeah, bearing in mind the crowd was about 38,000 as well, but the noise was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, jumping the last, it really was quite emotional, and just puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? I guess.
Yeah, I was on Quilixios and John Bond for the champion chase. Obviously, Quilixios ran a belter, ran to him to the last, and fell at the last. But I felt no envy in the fact I'd lost money in that race, because the moment was bigger than any amount of money I can win or lose any day of the week. And I don't really have that much more to offer, but I was just going to say the Wednesday of the champion chase rather than Marine Nationale, because we've seen Jazzy Matty then go and win. Was it the 2 mile handicap? I always forget the bloody name of it. The Grand Annual. He went and won that shortly after, and then on the Wednesday I don't drink after the races, so I walked back down the hill on my own, and like the sky was just beautiful that day. Like the sun was kind of just pass through the clouds, and obviously, like, you'll have these people say, oh, fucking what a coincidence, but you can't align all of those things to happen in one day, especially so quickly after we'd lost Michael O'Sullivan as well. And like, it was still so very heartfelt. Like, when the Supreme went off on the Tuesday, we had the same kind of emotion, didn't we, Cot, where it was it was a moment of respect. Everybody applauded, and I've never really seen Cheltenham like that. But like you said there, the roar when Marine Nationale won, and then I hopped back to the parade ring, and there was tears everywhere. Barry Connell was in tears. Like, it was, it was an incredible moment, really. And I think we can all agree that was definitely the moment of the year for racing. That was beautiful. So there we go. That is the 5 awards for the year's done. Not as much controversy as I thought. Cotty's going to have to live for the next 12 months with giving Nico de Boinville an award, but other than that, I'm sure he'll get over it. And it was nice to do that as a little bit of a recap. We do have racing this week, and we are going to fire through this because Cotty's going to yell at me that we're going over time here. But we do have 3 races to take you from this week, and we will do that right now. So on the main grounds that we might have a bit of racing this week, we are just going to take you through the 2 graded races on the Saturday from Warwick and Kempton, and the Lanzarote Hurdle, which is one of the best handicaps of the season. A really big pot to pick up there. We'll go to Warwick first for the 152 over there, which is the William Hill Price Boost Everyday Hampton Novices Chase, known as the Classic Chase originally. It's a grade 2, 3 miles for these 9 contenders, with a bit of a joint at the top of the market. Moon Rocker coming off a very good second last time out. Wade Out's chasing up a hat-trick with Sean Bow and Ollie Murphy on at 5-2. Tris Durrell takes a nice ride there with, I assume, Skelton's down at Kempton. Doyen Quest will take that at 5-1. Bigger prices about the rest. You two are hoping to be there on Saturday, as long as hell doesn't freeze over the Midlands in the next couple of hours. But 2 at the top of the market here, Matty. I know you're a big fan of Warwick. I've been once. I really enjoyed it. It's a pretty tight track, really, and I kind of looked at some of these and thought it might not suit them. Wade Out chasing that hat-trick kind of looks as the one to appeal, but he's given £5 to the majority of them. Would that be a problem?
Wouldn't be for me. Wade Out. I didn't like the way it went at Cheltenham. I think as much as a good Sean Byrne ride it was, the race, it fell apart a bit in front of him. I don't think that he's going to get that this time. It's not going to be anywhere near as soft as it was at Cheltenham. And I don't think he'll get away with racing like he did that time. I actually think Lawrence Bay for the Snowdens was a decent little shout in here, to be honest. One on chase and debut, just a 2-runner race at Utoxeter, nothing to scream home about. Was then beaten in the Escher at Sandown. Doing Quest was all ahead of him that day. Just think Doing Quest's been on the go, a bit more this season, slightly more exposed. And I'm hoping that a return to, a bit of a flatter track might just suit Lawrence Bay. Salva was the winner that day. Good, very good horse, and I don't think that form's too bad. But I just think at the prices, Lawrence Bay 8-1, Doyen Quest 5s. I'd probably rather be on Lawrence Bay. No jockey booking as of yet, but that is the only entry for this horse. So fingers crossed he takes his chance. And yeah, that would be the one for me in this.
Yeah, you'd be very happy to see Gavin Sheehan get on board that one, wouldn't you? I suppose like that, the form behind Salva last time as well. Salva's a very good horse, and he got his conditions that day as well. So I shortlisted Lawrence Bay, who's out to 8-1 at the minute, but has a win over 3 miles before. So I don't hate that shout. Those 2 at the top of the market are kind of really tricky to split here because they come from different backgrounds, don't they? Really, Cotty. I mean, Wade Out didn't look brilliant for the first few novice years, but then recently he's picked up 2 very good wins this year, up to 3 miles here. Is that going to be an issue for him?
No, but I'm with agreement with Matty. I couldn't have Wade Out here. The horse I fancy here is Moon Rocket. I've been on it the last 2 times it's ran, both times over fences. Was very impressive on chase debut at Doncaster over 3 mile. Jumps like it's been doing it for God knows how many years. Very, very fluent jumper. Lost a match last time out at Doncaster over the same course and distance by a horse called Gamester's Guy, who was running a very good race at Ayr before making a bad mistake. That race was won by 6 Mile Bridge, who has obviously come out from the run at Ayr and won really nicely at Cheltenham. I'm a fan of Johnny Burke, but I didn't like I think he got this horse beat last time out, and yeah, I wasn't too happy with the ride that day. I just thought that he didn't play the race to the horse's strengths, and I just think round Warwick, getting to a nice rhythm down the back. There's 4 or 5 fences that come up real quick, and if you can get into a rhythm and put Wade out its comfort zone. We saw round Cheltenham that he's not the most fluent of jumpers. So if we can get into a nice rhythm there, getting £5 off Wade out as well. Um, Currently see 9-4 on the Racing Post app. I think this is a very, very strong bet. I didn't see too much else in the race that would worry me worry me too much at all. So yeah, I'd say this is a strong bet here at 9-4.
Yeah, the more proven of the two at the top of the market over 3 miles. You know he's going to stay. He likes his jumping. Good win at Doncaster there recently as well. So not too dissimilar in terms of track size and everything in between. I just wanted to take a poke at one at a big price here, but I just thought this was a weak grade 2, and maybe that's why I thought Western Knight might be able to pick it up. A little bit up and down. It was 8 for Aintree during the National Festival that Julius de Picton won that race. But just piss clear, didn't he? Was well out of the picture at Exeter. It looked like he needed the run behind Doyen Quest, who won that day. And I probably wouldn't discount Doyen Quest here, to be fair. There's probably could be a good chance for him to go again at 3 miles. It was the run at Haydock that I really liked last time out. He got his head down in a 3-run race there at the start of December. Jumps nicely, this horse. I do like his jump, and he's pretty consistent in that regard. Whether he gets the full 3 miles is probably the main thing. I mean, his biggest win in distance is 2.5. He's tried 3 twice, was second at Cheltenham last year behind JetBlue, which I thought was a pretty decent run. I don't think JetBlue is too bad of a horse either, but I just thought 10-1. If we can get 8 to run here, I think that's a decent enough poke at the prices. So that was the one that I was able to pick out for that race. Too quickly from Kempton. The first of those is a grade 2. That's the 240, the Coral Silvagnac Conti. What a great horse he was. They chased around there for, 2.5 miles, I think. Just the 4 that run here, Caliph de Burley's evens at the top of the market. I'll let you two speak about this race because I didn't have much of a thought, but I thought if Caliph de Burley can't beat a bunch of fucking granddads, then I don't know what he can't beat. I know Nichols is a bit wobbly on form, but Matty, I just thought this thing can't get beat. They can't get beat at evens.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. I mean, he was disappointing on his reappearance in the Holden Gold Cup, but it actually worked out that he was giving Thistleask over a stone that day. And the way it's kind of worked out, that actually probably wasn't a bad run from Caliph de Burley. They've said he looks like he's ready for this step up and trip. Like you say, be very disappointed if he couldn't take this. You'd be left scratching your heads if you were connections. So yeah, Caliph de Burley as well for me.
Yeah, Carter, you're going to triple it up. I mean, Edward Stone's 46. I can't believe he's still running. Maybe we'll see Edward Stone be a bit more prominent. I remember the run he had a couple of years ago was at, where was it? Weatherby, I think, where he slept them from the front. Could see a tactic like that, but you'd be shocked if this thing got beat.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd have back worse even shots, definitely. The only slight concern is to me is why is it evens?
Just because it hasn't been declared. I'm guessing this is going to go 4-9 tomorrow.
I wouldn't be backing it at 4-9 if that was the case. I mean, we saw it run last time out at Exeter. Was beat 22.5 lengths. I know it was seasonal reappearance, but didn't Paul Nicholls say this could be a Gold Cup horse? He likes to big up his horses, but
it's like Aidan O'Brien every year when a 2-year-old comes out. This is the best thing I've ever trained. Nichols can say that quite a lot and get caught out.
Yeah, I just think obviously Thistleask is a horse, improving at the rate of knots, but 22.5 lengths behind. You got Edward Stone in at the second.
Was giving it well over a stone that day.
You could chop nearly 20 lengths off there. Yeah,
that's a hell of a lot of a weight. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just at the prices, I'd rather back Edward Stone at 3-1. I think was last seen running in the Peterborough Chase, was beaten just under 5 lengths by DeGello, was 15-16 lengths clear of Boomborn, so that's got the beating of that. Master Chewy promised to be a good horse a couple of years ago, but that's lost its way. So I kind of make it a match race. and I'm getting 3-1 of a horse to beat another. So we're getting £3 off Khalif de Burley. So that's a help as well, I guess. And yeah, we give it a go, and we take on the favourite, a new pair, and try get you beat.
Yeah, nice. There you go. The 46-year-old Edwardstone there for you at 3-1 to try and get Caliph de Burley beat there with the top of the market. Right,
He's only
finish off then.
12. Leave him
He's only
alone.
12, right? So I'm only getting 6 years off him. That's all right. When was the last time Edwardstone won the Cold War? Right, we'll finish off with the Kempton Lanzarote hurdle then. 2-5 handicap. Very, very good race this, to be fair. £52,000 for the top there. And Matty, this is a race that Skelton's going to be targeting there. He's got one at the top of the market there, Abhai Denom, who we've seen win at Cheltenham, backed it up at Leicester. He's been on a roll, 10 stone 6. Surely not another Skelton plot job.
Oh, I'm just being drawn to this horse. Yeah, I can't let a dance scout and handicap hurdler, Harry doing 10-6. I'm not sure how often you'd see him do that, but that's low enough. Says it all. Won nicely at Cheltenham, then won very cosily at Leicester back in a novice race to get him qualified for this race, I believe. Or it might be qualified for a later handicap. Just like you say, just screams a bit of a plot job. Lanesborough won really easily. I think it was at Doncaster last time, backed it. But I just think, that off 10 stone 6, a Paidanom could be absolutely thrown in. I love Friendship. He's one of my favourite horses in training at the moment. No jockey booking yet. I'm thinking they might wait for a bit of softer ground. We were there when he won at Newbury. There was a bit of soft in the ground that day, and he looked like he thrives on a little bit of cut in the ground. He took him
12 stone's going to be a bit of a bugger to win this off, though.
Exactly. And it took him a bit of time to actually get going. Once he got going, he won nicely, but I can't see them running him on what's currently good ground, and there's not much rain around, so I don't think he'll run. I think a Paidanom 6-1, see him going off a lot shorter. I could see the punters getting stuck into him, to be fair.
Yeah, you never really want to be off the Skelton plot jobs if that's the case. Not even a plot job, he's just still well handicapped, really, I suppose. So, one on the top for you there. Just so I can let Cotty go quickly in a minute, I'll just say Reckless Eric for me. He's a horse I've backed a couple of times at Cheltenham. He's paid me quite well. Had 2-1s there. Beat Cavan Club, was second in Mirabad. Relatively consistent since, to be fair. He was unlucky to lose to Godante at Sandown. I don't know particularly how well he's going to go around a right-handed track, to be fair, but it's not too bad. Disappointing at Ascot last time out. Maybe needed the run a couple of weeks ago. If he can reappear here quickly, he's well handicapped, to be fair. He's only going off 10 stone 10. Keelan Woods will take the ride. I'm a pretty big Keelan Woods fan, so 16-1 there I thought was a decent price. Cotty, who wins the Lanzarote?
Yeah, no, I've been sweet on a Paidanom the last twice. Fancied it massively at Cheltenham when Tristan was on it, and then the next time out at Leicester was one of my nap of the weeks, and he won nicely that day without doing a lot. Lovely weight here off 10 stone 6. I'd imagine it'll go close here and then be kept away for the Martin Pipe or something at Cheltenham. 6-1 seems a fair enough price. I don't know if many people watching have done match bets, but I'd be doing a match bet to beat Lansborough, the favourite, as well. I'd also be backing Friendship to beat the favourite as well. I couldn't have that at 5-1. I know it won impressively at Doncaster last time out, but if you're getting beat off a mark of 101 at Hereford in the middle of January last year, you can't be winning a Lanzarote hurdle a year on. So no, I don't give that much chance. But yeah, a Paidanom to beat Friendship for the forecast would be lovely.
I'd just like to say I've been to Hereford. I'm a big fan of the track. That's a disrespectful comment, in my opinion. Love Hereford. Brilliant. There we go then. Cotty's got some darts to go and play, don't you, tonight, Cotty? So that's why you're trying to get out of here as fast as you can.
I think it's more the fact you want to go play poker than me play darts. But
game's been
yeah.
confirmed, by the way. 7:30 kickoff. So let's get this podcast out quickly. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for coming on, Matty. Warwick, hopefully Saturday. I mean, I'm not fucking hopeful.
No, neither am I. That's the plan. A few of us heading over to Warwick. Hopefully, it'd be nice to get a day's racing in. But yeah, not holding out much hope. If not, it might be a trip to the capital, maybe for a Spurs away last minute ticket. I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. Won about 56 games in a row there before you lost to Arsenal. So the Villa are going well. City not doing too bad themselves. We need a win tonight. Thank you, boys, for coming on and joining. I really appreciate it. We will be back next week for whatever racing we can take you through. Really appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the awards. Something a bit different for us. But thank you. We appreciate your support. We'll see you next week, folks.